Hello, authors, book lovers, and storytellers. Welcome to another Reader's Magnet featured author interview. My name is Mark, and I am your host for today. And together with me is one of the Reader's Magnet featured authors, here to talk more about his journey as an author and his book. Everyone, please help me welcome Jim Reuther. Hi, Jim. How are you today?
Very well. How are you doing? How's your world? Good to see
I'm
you.
doing great. Thank you so much for asking. I just want to say thank you for attending our interview today, Jim, and we're so happy to have you here. And actually, to be honest, I'm so excited to have this interview with you because, to be honest, I actually saw your previous interview with us already, and then uh, I'm so amazed about how optimistic you are in life and how about the idea of how you see the world. And I just love seeing how positive you are, and so amazing that knowing that someone has this kind of POV or points of view in life. So yeah, it's just making me excited to have this interview with you. But before we proceed with this interview, Jim, can you please introduce yourself to our audience right now?
Yes, well, thank you very much for having me again. It's a privilege to be able to speak with you and share some of my thoughts, not only with the in video, but also in my book. Uh, I'm a PhD chemical physicist,
Hmm.
chemistry and physics mix, and my specialty is molecular spectroscopy.
Hmm.
In ordinary English, that's light. I am. My PhD was to make blue green light out of chemicals, just reacting chemicals together. So I've done a lot of work in light. I've studied everything from soothing candle flames, why candles dance and flicker, why they color, to large fires and explosions and accidents, how they actually injure people. And then finally, I worked on a Defense Department side on fireballs from weapons of mass destruction that were intended to burn and injure people. So I have the full gamut of things from peaceful use of fire or flame or light to the destructive types. And it's really that wide spectrum that allows me to get a perspective about how we should feel about the world and how we should have a more positive and be more kind to each other and gentler and try to get into a better place because it's a tough world out there right now. And the
Hmm.
hope is with light, and it starts with candle flames. I mean, that's why you light a candle. That's a spiritual kind of thing. But I understand how the flame actually performs, and I can make it perform the way I want it to. My job is to manage fire and light to do things that you want it to do, and it's really to inspire hope and other thoughts.
Wow. Okay. Wow. That was a lot, and I'm so excited to know more about it specifically. So, let's go back to your previous interview with us, with Leia. Uh, uh, um, Jim, I believe that you mentioned about something, a light whisperer, and the moment you said that, I got so intrigued about the idea of what a light whisperer is, and then I actually did some research about it. I googled it and then tried to know what the definition is, but I was not able to see it. So, might as well ask you
Good.
right now. Might
Good.
as well ask you right now to know. Can you please help us understand what a light whisperer is?
Well, I'll take you to a situation. Many people have fireplaces and they
Mhm,
burn wood and they watch the flames. It's soothing. They're called fire pits. A lot
mhm,
of people burn them outside, and you watch fire. You watch the light, and it's communicating with you. It's soothing you. It's whispering to you. You're watching the colors and the visual part, but it's actually transmitting something to you. It's comfort. I mean, people always have gone for comfort for ordinary comfort, for heat and for survivability. But people light candles for spiritual reasons. If you look at a lot of the uh, traditions and rituals around the world, they usually involve lights and flames, and it's communicating something. It's saying something to you. It's
mhm,
again, it's transmitting peace and tranquility to you. So it's whispering to you. It's communicating visually, but it's also speaking to you and in calm and in words that you may not quite understand, but you feel them. It's transmitting on an emotional plane.
mhm,
And again, that's one of the reasons. So that's why I coined the phrase, I'm a light whisperer. And it's
mhm,
really that I'm going to explain how these situations it symbolizes hope, it symbolizes comfort, it symbolizes peace and warmth, and they're kind. Now, if the fires behave themselves, they are kind. But then again, there's right now Columbus, Ohio is experiencing tremendous air pollution from the wildfires that are burning in Canada. I've spent time of how to put wildfires out and other large fires, so I know the dark side of fire. But it's a soothing, it's an emotional kind of thing. You're relating to something that's alive. A flame is alive. It has a lifetime. Once you
Mm-hmm.
start it, it keeps going when it has enough food, fuel to burn. And it'll
Right.
keep burning on its own. It has a lifetime. It is a living thing in nature. I mean, it exists. So it's trying to tell you something. When it behaves itself, it does good. And when it doesn't behave itself, it can be destructive. But I'm talking about the positive side of what you can get from light.
Mm-hmm.
And there's other light in the world. And the whole purpose of my next project, which is to write about this, is to say there's other forms of light besides candles flames or flames that's communicating with you right now. And the project that I have is a book, and it has three main characters in it. One of there's there and I will make the statement, and I've vetted this, that these main characters have never been written about before as being living things. So that's really the adventure that I would like to take you on. I'm going to make you wonder, and I'm going to talk to you about how light and shadows and other kinds of phenomena influence your life. They shape your well-being. You wake up in the morning and the sun is shining. You're happy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If it's cloudy, you're not happy. You might be moody. Although I like rainy days every now and then.
Yeah, yeah,
But
depends.
it depends. But it's really it's trying to write about the emotional connection between light and light produced from different places, either natural light or other or man-made light, that influences your emotion. It makes you happy. It makes you sad. It makes you angry. It can soothe you. And it's not only the flames are usually orange or yellow, but it's the multiple colors of the spectrum that can change your moods in the life. So it's difficult to write because I'm trying to make something that you've never thought about as influencing your life, of how much it does influence your life. And it's really if you think about it, you can see these things. You can go into the other world of being more peaceful and tranquil.
Wow, 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 that's a lot, huh? I'm so actually so interested about this, the idea you said that light is actually communicating with us. Yeah, about the light whisperer, Jim, you said that you're a light whisperer, right? I want
Yes,
to know more if anyone or just random people can be a light whisperer. Like, can can we be a light whisperer if we want to? If it's is it something like a choice?
it's a choice, and it starts. This now starts the transition from the scientific, which I'm,
Yeah,
scientist,
yeah.
into more the
Mm-hmm.
magical part. And the
Ooh,
and the idea is, yes, you can use your environment and lights and how you interact with things to your advantage. The key is, the definite thing is you have to be able to see it first. And most people don't see it. They're seeing it, but they're not hearing it.
something like an emotional feeling.
An emotional connection, right? And the way I said light whispers, the way I describe what you're listening to, and I shared with you before, is that they are bright whispers. They're trying to tell you something. Right now, I believe that you haven't made that breakthrough through. There's a wall of understanding of how light works. And what my premise is that by telling you this, you will be able to be a light whisperer. You will be able to read the messages in bright whispers, and that will just help you on your daily chores. And as we speak, the three main characters that I'm talking about, I'm trying to write them as a character, as a life form, exist as we speak in this interview. You just have to be told, just need a little nudge, a little bit of trigger. Once the problem that I'm having with describing this is there's a build up to it. And when I tell
Mm-hmm.
you what it is, you're going to be surprised. You're going to say maybe unbelievable, but then as you read, you're going to say, I believe. And then in the
Wow.
end, you'll learn you must believe. So it's really an introduction to a new world of light that's essentially going to put you in, it's going to help you a lot in trying to get peace and tranquility in your life. And you can share it with other people. As I
Wow.
said, it's
Wow.
happening right now. I set up my studio to do this. When I tell you what it is, the first thing will be surprise, unbelievable, and there'll be some laughter maybe, and then they'll wonder. But then I will convince you that it's real. Uh, Now, I do have to give you a hint. I've been holding off on this in the interview.
Mm-hmm.
I've already told you about this in Gunky's Adventures in the Land of Must Believe. I've already told you that this is about to happen. It's the last chapter of the book. And if you
Oh
read
my
the
God.
last chapter, now that I've given you a warm up, you will know that the last chapter talks about a situation involving red light. That, of course, red means a warning, and I write it as if these lights are warning us about things, but you don't right away. You're thinking red is a warning, but maybe red might be a good thing. So that's the twist. So the launching point for this next adventure in bright whispers starts with the last chapter with red light, and I will expand on it to other entities that are life forms that really definitely influence your life. They influence your behavior, your thoughts, emotions, and that's really what I'm trying to put all together. So I'm gonna show you how to be a light whisperer. Yes, I'm going to show you how
Wow.
to read bright whispers. And they work for me. In fact, I've already told you. And the person who helped me on this adventure was my late wife. She shared with me something that she thought, and we talked about this at length. So she contributed to the first chapter. She wrote an afterlife love letter to me,
Mm-hmm.
sharing our struggles with her later years battling a cursed disease. And in there, she shared with me something about how she was going to communicate with me. And she said that, look for a sign which you may not see right away. That will be me beaming my love to you. And I've discovered what that sign is. And I've now discovered that she's whispering to me in heaven.
Wow.
And I'm
Wow.
at
Wow.
peace. People say I've lost a 36-year marriage and a beautiful woman, a great family in existence. I've had a wonderful life, but she's still whispering to me. And there's other people that are, people are whispering to you in different thoughts and emotions. And this is really what we're going to explore in an adventure tale. And there are going to be 26 separate chapters. They're not
Wow.
alphabetical like the first one, different stories, but they're going to lead you on a path. And it's going to take you on an adventure. And I guarantee you will the stories will resonate with you, and
Mm-hmm.
you will laugh out loud and say, "Oh my, I never saw that before. I never
Wow.
heard that before." And you will.
Okay.
Okay?
Wow, wow, Jim,
Is
you're
that enough
actually
tease?
teasing me. It's really effective. Yeah, I'm actually very looking forward for that new project of yours. Jim, one thing though, is it going to be like a story form or like someone with characters, or is it going to be a form of just anthologies, like collection of poems, or what?
Well,
Um,
right now there's no
or
poetry in it, but it's going to be a
okay.
collection of there are going to be characters. Yes, there are characters, and they were going to be the different forms of light.
Oh
Again,
wow,
I'm
amazing.
trying to translate that. It's a difficult thing to get your head around. I mean, that's the problem. But
Yeah.
that's the warm up. But I'm going to try to do that. I mean, I think I'm going to accomplish it in the build up of it. I'm going to explain to you what it's all about, and why you should. It's really a mindset. You have to
Mm-hmm.
think about going into this world of light, just like you have to think of when you enter a world of religion, or dare I say, politics. You have to go into it and understand it, and then see what you get back out of it. But it's there, and I've shared it with other people. And what's interesting is, once I tell them, they said, I sort of knew this all along, but I never made the breakthrough. I'm trying to communicate. I'm trying to make a connection between a natural phenomena, which is light and fire, a candle flame, and what it's actually communicating with you. I'm trying to make that connection. Some people thought it's maybe science fiction-ish or magic.
Mm-hmm.
It's both, but it's real though. I'm trying to justify, explain, rationalize, so that you don't think that I'm a little bit off. But it's you'll when you read it, it's going to give you a deeper understanding on what controls. It's controlling us right now. You don't realize how much it is, and it can be controlling both in a good way and a bad way, depending upon if you don't read it, or if you do read it the wrong way. So it's a magical, mystical tour adventure that Gunky's going to take you on, and you must believe.
Well, I'm just so amazed about the idea, Jim, that you're a guy that lives in the industry of science, but at the same time believes in magic. And I'm just so amazed about that idea, and it's making me excited to know to buy a copy of your book. And I'm so sure that our audience right now are actually feeling the same way as I do right now, and I can't wait to. Can we, by the way, can we consider this upcoming book a type of like a how-to guide to be a light whisperer, or no?
I'm going to give you instructions on what to look for. Yes. And you're going to look for them, and you're going to see them. Now, I've done something else. I'm a bit of a trickster. I think you might have, if you read Gunky's Adventures in the Land of Must Believe, I've narrated some stories about how my father played practical jokes on me, my family did, and how I play practical jokes on other people. Well, when I wrote the book, I purposely put seeds, or uh, uh, eggs, as they call it in writing. I put seeds throughout the book that I can go back to now in this next extension and tell you that I've already told you some things that you may not have quite understood or appreciated. They're embedded in the poetry. They're embedded in the some of in the stories. They're also embedded on the back cover of the book, which I didn't really explain. And if you look at the back cover of the book,
Wow, yeah,
do
yeah, it
you
makes
see what do
sense.
you see there?
A
Uh,
light.
you see a light, and if I hold it right, I get the reflections out. There you see, and that's real. That's not you. If you wanted to take it apart and do some angles and reflections and things like that, makes you wonder of how that actually appeared. Well, I'm going to show you how it appears in other circumstances that's right before your eyes. And then I'm going to show you about some other colors. Again, it's multiple colors, but I'm going to explain to you how they communicate with you. That was a challenge. It's not only in brightness, but there's a communication that's going on among the different life forms, or the different light forms, that if you just have to be able to read them. You have to be told they exist. You have to believe they exist. And then when you start reading them, you'll start to understand how they're influencing your life. And they're doing this to help you. They're not all enemies. The last chapter in the book talks about a red menace, if you will. I mean, there's lots of jokes about red colors and the like. I use every descriptive term in the book to describe what red is. And it's sort of like it's dangerous, but it may not be. So again, there's two sides to every story, and that's really the premise of the book. It's an extension of adventure, that and the underlying theory for it is going to be that you can, in your daily life, you have a choice, and it really goes back to the lucky stone concept. And of course,
Mm-hmm.
the cover of the book are lucky stones, and if you look here, there's
Mm-hmm.
one, and here it
There's Caleb.
is. Here is this one that's on the cover. And if
Mm-hmm.
you look through it, you can see the portal to another world. Well, I'm going
Yeah.
to take you into the world of light. And I'm going to say that it's communicating to you not only by sight, but by sound. Bright, whispers, and you just have to be able to see it and understand it and then appreciate it and then go with it. So
So
thank you
you're
for sharing.
saying,
It's
sharing, saying, Jim, that the light has been communicating with us. It's just that we are not aware of it, or we just don't know how to.
right. We're not receiving it. They're communicating, but we're not receiving.
All right, amazing. Oh my God.
And
Uh, you said that there are some hints about your upcoming book in your previous, in your first book, right? Are you trying to say that this upcoming book is a prequel to your first book of your first book? No.
no, it's a part of it. I mean, it's an extension. It's not really a prequel. It's going to explain some of the things that I've mentioned in our interactions. Again, I'm going to connect the dots. It's
Mm-hmm.
again, if you read them in the book, you're gonna just say, okay, well, I get that, but it's got a deeper meaning to it. There's a deeper thing going on here that's more profound. And I'm being philosophical in a way, but I'm trying to relate philosophy and emotions and those kinds of things into reality. Because when I tell you who the first main character is, you're going to laugh out loud. But then I guarantee you that when I tell you this, you will never be able to unsee it. You will
Oh
never
my
be
God.
able to unread what it's telling you. That's the
Oh my God.
trick. And again, it's the same thing as the stories in Donkey's Adventures. I'm going to tell you about some circumstances that were quite real. They did happen to me, and the tragedies and the jinxes that I had, things like that. But this is to get you, and the whole purpose of you is to make you wonder that there's a larger world out there that
Mm-hmm.
involves light. And I've researched it pretty deeply. I did the same thing. I did Google searches. I actually did trademark searches on it to see if anybody this ever captured this. And now that I've said it out loud, I mean, sure, people can. I mean, they can take advantage of it. But I think I have an advantage on them that I think of being a scientist, that I've seen and done things that people maybe not have seen and done before. So I have a deeper appreciation of light. Light has been essentially the joke is it's the light of my life. I mean, I made a career out of light, studying light, and different colors, lasers and stars,
Mm-hmm.
and all sorts of events, sunsets, sunrises. I write a book about my father. When he lived, he said he was a milkman. He got up to see. He saw over 50 years of sunrises in his life, and he could
Wow.
interpret them. So it's going to make you move into the natural world comfortably, and you'll find signals. It's about signatures and signals that will put you in a better state of mind. You just have to see them. And again, you mentioned, is it a how-to book? Yes, there's going to be a how-to book. I'm going to tell you who they are and how they operate, and then you'll take it to that. And then you can take it or not take it, but they're going to influence you no matter what you do, because this character is with us always. There's always light, even in darkness. There's light. I'll ask the simple question. If you look up into the sky, and if you're not in an air polluted part of the world, if you're like in the Middle East and it's just desert, you look up and you can see billions of stars.
Mm-hmm.
They're all shining, right?
Yeah.
Why is the background black?
That is something. That
I'm
is
going to make
something
you
we need to
wonder.
know, right?
I'm going to make
Yeah.
you
Huh?
wonder. There's words for it, and again, I'm putting a little science in here. One of the comments that in talking this over with some meta reviewers is that keep the science simple, but it's really asking questions of like why can you see certain colors? Why can you see different shades, different shadows? That's all a level a presence or absence of light. And of course, white light is the presence of all colors. And if you spread them out, you now have a diversity of colors. They all have a meaning,
Mm-hmm.
uh, meanings that have been they prescribed for them. Red is usually danger. Yellow means
Correct.
caution. Green means
Mm-hmm.
go. But
Or
there's
safe.
what or safe. So there's
Yeah.
so they're communicating to you and using a certain word. So they're really they dominate our life. They're there. It's just a world in which I would like you to go.
Mm-hmm.
And the goal is to introduce you to this world. And the end result is really to find peace, find some hope, find some warmth. We know that light usually, can mean warmth. In the fireplace, you have the warmth of the fireplace, but you listen to it crackle. You listen to it. You hear, candles actually make make noise. Excuse me. Uh, oh, and I mentioned it. I said, do they actually communicate to you in emotions? I'm going to maintain that they actually communicate to you in symbols. They can actually leave messages.
Wow.
Think about it. And when I tell you how it works, you're going to laugh out loud.
Oh
It's going
my
to make
God.
you laugh. It's going to make you chuckle. It's going to
Mm-hmm.
make you wonder. And then when I give practical examples, it's going to make you say, you know, this is happening. So just as they're influencing us today. So it's exciting about it. So thank you for letting me open this new adventure into light whispers or bright whispers. It's going to be
Mm-hmm.
fun. It's fun. It's entertaining. I think it'll put you in different emotions and moods. And I think the end result you'll enjoy it, and maybe you'll think about how the world is, and it's meant to be positive in the end, really to give you hope and inspiration. Because as I always say, reason, peace, and love will prevail. And we just need a little help from some light.
Wow, wow, that is actually a big saying, Jim. And actually, what you're saying or sharing with me right now makes a lot of sense, Jim, because when we are born, we actually see light before going into this world, and if we end our life, our death, we go to the light. So like, I think light really plays a big role in life. So and I'm so glad, and it's making me excited to know more about light. And I'm so excited to have a copy right now, have a copy of your book, and I can't wait for you to publish that book already.
There's
I
only
just
one
want to.
copy. There's only one copy, and it's sitting over there.
Oh my God! So you have made it already. You
But
have
I'd like to
finished it.
build on what you just said. You're born into it. You see light for the first time,
Mm-hmm.
and then when you pass away, people talk about the experience of seeing light. I'm
Uh-huh.
going to let
Going into
you
the light. Right.
going into the light. I'm going to let
Mm-hmm.
you experience the life form that I'm going to characterize as being light in between birth and death.
Wow. So the beginning and the end, and also the
Your
in
whole life.
between, yeah, actually, so there is light that is, existing around us. We just have to be open about it, and be aware about that
Ah,
idea.
brilliant. You have to be aware. You have to look through this portal, the lucky stone. You look through that portal and you can go into a different world. And I'm saying to take you into the world of light. And it's an adventure. It'll make you wonder, it'll make you think, and it'll make you think about options that you have. That's the whole key. There's some funny tales. I'm going to try to make some jokes about some of the characters. I'm going to make some serious notes. There are, as in all things, there may be some, light that has bad intentions,
Mm-hmm.
and how to get around that. But in the end, it's really it's borderline on scientific spirituality. It's really try to make it as unique as possible. And that's really the goal of this, is to be the first to talk about this. And that's why it was such a challenge to write it, is the main characters, how to describe them without telling you. I mean, I could tell you in 3 words what it is, and you'd know the whole book. But I'm trying to build up the drama. I'm trying to build
Mm-hmm.
up the mystique. I'm trying to give you hints. I'm going to let you try to figure it out. I'm going to
I'm
give you
trying.
puns. I'm going to
I'm
give you
actually
tips,
trying.
just like the last
Uh-huh.
chapter of the book. I've
Mm-hmm.
given you a lot of tips in there. I've only told one person what the red menace is, and he's a best friend for life. But he says he cannot unsee it. So I mean, it's all good. It's I mean, it's. There's some funny parts into it. Some people there's some zany parts in it. I guarantee you that you'll think this is a little. Sometimes it's like it's going over the edge a little bit in terms of
Mm-hmm.
imagination. That's what
Mm-hmm.
someone said to me. It goes over the edge of imagination. But I said you can never go over the edge of any imagination.
Wow.
Imagination
Wow.
is infinite. So I'm going to try to
Correct.
extend your imagination. So thank you for sharing. This has been fun. I'm
Yeah,
glad I'm
actually,
teasing you. I'm not sorry to
I'm very
torture you.
teased
I'm
right now.
teasing you.
I'm so
But that's
excited
the
to
whole
have the
point is
book.
once I tell one, I'm gonna introduce one and it'll be related to the last chapter. And then you're gonna think about it. Then I'm gonna challenge you to say number two. And that one's gonna be harder. That's gonna be a challenge.
Wow.
That's gonna be a stretch. But then in the end, I'm gonna tell you who the mastermind is. And I call it the overseer. And it's essentially the main character. And that'll be
Mm-hmm.
the if that's the final chapter. And if you haven't figured it out by then, I will tell you. And that's when I would if you figure it out, then you'll know the ending. I mean, you may be able to figure it out. You want to be curious and a problem
Mm-hmm.
solver like I've been. But in the end, I'm going to tell you, and I have told some shared this with people, and it's disbelief until they think about it. And then I tell them, think again. And then it becomes belief because you must believe.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Wow. Thank you for sharing all of these to me, Jim. We are so, I'm sure not only me, but every one of us that is watching right now or will see this video will be so excited as me right now. And I'm so thankful that you use our platform to share all of these teasers about your upcoming project. And for the last time, Jim, or on to our last question. What do you want our readers to take away from that upcoming book of yours?
First of all, I've been invited to go to the book signing in Chicago in September. I hope that everything is done by then. What
Mm-hmm.
I hope to do is what I've tried to do in the first book of adventures.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to go on an adventure with me
Mm-hmm.
and read what I have to say, identify it with it. There's going to be some sad parts, but there's going to be some happy parts, and then just go on the adventure and get in touch with them. I'm going to relate to experiences that you had, and I want to share. And what I'm trying to build is I'm trying to build the foundation of hope. I'm going to say that there's more help. There's more entities, if you will, helping you to get through this life. This world is extremely challenging. I mean, I've lived through. I'm 73, and I've lived through lots of conflicts. I mean, I made a
Mm-hmm.
comment that back when I was a teenager and a young man, we had the Vietnam War and Earth Day and civil rights movements
Uh-huh.
and all sorts of riots in the streets, and I thought this will never happen again. Well, now we have all these conflicts, and it's really people are really strained. They need to have a little bit of a support group. So what
Mm-hmm.
the book is going to do is it's going to give you a support group that's there for
Wow.
your taking, and it's going to be the light and that's going to help you bull you up. I mean, when I tell you when you find out what it is, I guarantee you when you think of it, just like when I give you a lucky stone when I was passing these out in Los Angeles, people thought, "Wow, this is a touchstone. It's a portal to the other world. I can look through this and I can hope." Well, now I'm
Mm-hmm.
telling you that there's light on the other side that can give you hope and inspiration. But there's also light on the front side. So it's really the light is on both sides. So it's all
Mm-hmm.
around this. So it's really what I hope they take away from it is some peace and solace to essentially comfort them. I because I've mentored a lot of people and people are stressed out and it's a tough life. I'm not saying that it's easy, but I'm just trying to give you a few more tools to think good thoughts, to think happy
Mm-hmm.
thoughts, think of
Mm-hmm.
sunshine, think of so that's really it's meant to be a message to the world, and I'm going to take you into the Gunky's world of light.
Wow. All right. Thank you so much for that, Jim. I'm so happy to have this interview with you already. I'm so excited to have that your upcoming book, and then and you know to have more people to be excited as me right now. All right. So, Jim, I think I have asked all of my questions that I prepared for you for this interview. This conclude our interview for today. So, do you have anything else to say before we end our interview?
Yes, I'm going to
Mhm,
extend my tagline.
mhm. Please.
Reason, peace, love, and light will prevail. You
All
must believe.
right. Oh, wow, that's so amazing. Thank you so much for that, Jim. So, everyone, that is Jim Reuther, author of the book Gunky's Adventure and the Land of Must Believe. Book is available on Amazon and Barnes& and Noble, and you can actually visit his website, Jim Reuther, aka Gunky.com. Again, thank you so much, Jim. As we say here at Readers Magnet, we share your story with the world. Bye, Jim.
Bye. Be seeing you.
Thank you.